All praises to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on a particular point that I heard a Christian make when talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and they said something along the lines of they've got a new theology. They don't have 2,000 years of Christianity, right? This is what I heard the man say, this Christian say on this video that one of the elders made, right? And he said they have a new theology. They don't have 2,000 years of Christianity, as if that's something to boast about, because he's basically saying that the doctrine of Christianity, as it's understood now by the modern day Christians as well, has been going on for 2,000 years, which that would not be something to boast about, because then you'd have to ask the question, right? Let's say what he's saying was true, and that the doctrine, their Christian doctrine, has been around for 2,000 years, which I don't believe that. I don't believe that the doctrine that they believe it has even been around for that amount of time. I do not believe that, right? But he believed it. But then, if that's true, then you'd have to ask this question, right? Revelation chapter 7 and I'll go straight to the point, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Now, I'm going to have to go up a few scriptures to make this point, in fact. So, or verse 3, Revelation chapter 7 and verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads, right? So what the scripture is saying is that the major destruction of the day of the Lord cannot come yet until the 144,000, or until a certain amount of number of the servants of Yahweh are sealed, right? And then it goes on to say the number that need to be sealed, and it's 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So this Christian boasting about how Christianity doctrine's been around for 2,000 years is actually an idiot, because that doctrine, and if it was so great, surely it should have been able to seal the 144,000 by now. Surely it should have been great enough to seal the number of servants that Yahweh needs to be sealed in order to bring destruction upon the earth, to bring the day of the Lord. But it obviously hasn't, because the day of the Lord is not here yet. Even though Christianity's been around, according to what that guy was trying to boast, around 2,000 years, right? Which is not true, that the doctrine of Christianity, how they believe it, has been around that long anyway. It only really would have been around like how they're trying to spew it, like about maybe 500 years, if that, right? If that, man. Now, let me go to this scripture as well in Revelation 14, where it speaks about how the 144,000 will be singing the new song. Where is that? Let me see. Okay. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 3. Let me go verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harps harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that new song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So the 144,000 know the new song now. When you go into what the new song is, right? Let's go to this. And people might say, oh, nah, that's not the new song. Okay, well, you say what you think the new song is then, or you bugged out Christians out there, right? Psalm 149 and verse 1. Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and he's praising the congregation of the saints. So the new song, right, is going to be a particular doctrine and a particular way of begging Yahweh, a particular message from the Bible, right, that is going to contain things that sound like what I'm about to read right now. Verse 2, let Israel rejoice in him that made him, let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. So the new song is going to be centered around the Israelites, right? The new song is going to be centered around the children of Israel. Is the doctrine of Christianity centered around the children of Israel? No, it's not. Verse 3, let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praise unto him with a timbrel and a harp. The new song is going to be a doctrine that's heavily centered around the name of the Lord, the name of Yahweh, and the name of his son. Is the doctrine of Christianity based around that? Is the doctrine of even certain other Israelites heavily based around a particular name? Or do some say that you can say whatever name you want to say? Right? Verse 4, for Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. The doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites, right, or the doctrine of the new song would be something that's heavily about how Yahweh cares about the Israelites above all other people and how he's going to beautify and change them when he gives them salvation. Is that what the Hebrew Israelites talk about? Especially the particular doctrine that comes from Great Millstone. Do they not talk about how Israelites are going to be changed? Yes, they do. Right? I ain't really heard no other Israelite camp even mention how Israelites. I've heard them speak about the MOTB, some of them, but I haven't heard them speak about how Israelites are going to be changed and receive new bodies. I ain't heard them say that, but I have heard the Israelites from Great Millstone speak about that. I've heard them say it, right? And I understand exactly the scriptures that they go to speak about that, and I believe them same exact scriptures mean the same thing. Scriptures like Philippians 3, verse 20 to verse 21. Scriptures like 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 to the end of that chapter, right? Hebrews 8, Jeremiah 31, verse 31, right? Ezekiel 36, verse 27, Deuteronomy 30 and verse 6, like many scriptures in the Bible that speak about the Israelites being transformed into something new. But does Christianity speak about that? No. And even among certain Israelites, they don't speak about these kind of things, which when you're reading about the new song, this is the kind of things that this new doctrine that would take over the earth would contain. The new song is a doctrine that's been being heard again. Verse 6, let the high praise of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. Is that what the Israelites talk about? Because we know for damn sure that Christianity ain't talking about that kind of stuff. They don't even speak about how the word of Yahweh is sharp and powerful, and sharper than is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. They don't even speak about that. Verse 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Do Christians talk about how the heathen are going to be punished? Do the heathens talk about how when the Israelites get back in power, they're going to punish the heathen nations for what they did to us? No, they don't. They speak about how heathens are going to be equal with Israelites, when the Bible clearly lets you know that the Israelites only are going to receive a new covenant. It don't mention none of them other nations by name. And you have to lie in order to make a Christian a Gentile be part of the new covenant, because the Bible does not have that in there. Yet they're quick to say, if the text wanted to show that in Revelation 7 and 9, they're all Israelites, it would clearly say, well, if the text wanted to show that Gentiles are part of the new covenant, it would show that then, wouldn't it? But it don't say that, does it? So you can't have it both ways. You can't expect it to be crystal clear and not in any parabolic speech when it's something that you want to find in the scriptures to try and disprove what we're saying. But then when it's something that's clear in the Bible, like other nations not being part of the new covenant, where it says Israel there, it technically means, it really means, or where Abraham's saying, I ain't got no seed. You Christians have got the nerve to try and say, oh, Abraham didn't know that his seed was really everyone. Yeah, okay. Because Abraham didn't know what it means to sleep with a woman and get her pregnant. Yeah, okay. He would have had a better understanding, more than like really, of women than what we have right now. Most men right now ain't got things on lock to where their woman's calling them Lord. She's calling him everything but his name out here. So let's not try and play games like Abraham didn't understand what it means to have an actual child of your lineage. Because let me go to this, man. Abraham understood that very well. Yeah. Don't try and make out like my forefather was some idiot, man. Yeah. And that's because he ain't your forefather. Why you feel brave to talk about him like that? Because he ain't related to you. He's related to us. He's even related to these dirty, filthy Edomites, right? But they ain't counted as the seed from him, though. Genesis chapter 15 and verse 3. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. So he was like, I ain't got no real actual children. And there's only one person within this household that even can be considered an heir of mine. I ain't got no real children that are my own children. So all you people trying to make up like Abraham, everyone's Abraham's seed, what are you talking about? How many nations existed when Abraham made this statement? How many? All of these people that are mentioned in Genesis 10. All of them. Goma, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Taras, what else? Cush, Mizraim, Put, Canaan, they existed, right? And all the different people from Shem existed as well. Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, Aram, all the different people that would have came from them existed at that time. And Abraham said, I ain't got no seed. The only nation really that had not existed around that time were the Moab, right? Moab wasn't around at that time. Ammon wasn't around at that time. Ishmael wasn't around at that time. And then the Israelites and the Edomites were not around. And maybe there might be a few more other, you know what I mean? But the way we come to understand it is that there's really 18 nations in the Bible. Other people can say whatever they want to say. But whatever number you choose of how many nations they are anyway, really, there's only one nation that's chosen. So that ain't going to change much. You trying to argue with us about the amount and number of nations that exist. How many of them are chosen? How many of them are going to be under the new covenant? How many of them are under the old? But back to this in Psalm 149. Because they're quick to try and mock this doctrine, right? But what's your doctrine saying? Psalm 149 and verse 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. You know already that the Hebrew Israelites talk about the heathen going into captivity. We speak about that. We pull out scriptures, right? In fact, I'll show some of the scriptures that we go to. And the thing is, Christianity still has to use these scriptures as part of their doctrine, or their doctrine is not complete. Now, even if they want to say, oh, this isn't talking about people going to slavery, humans, this is talking about when we're going to bind that dastardly Satan and put him in captivity. Even if they wanted to say that, which that would be a lie, but even if they wanted to say that, they still have to have that scripture as part of their doctrine. It still has to be in there. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So the saints are waiting for people to go into captivity, right? Which sounds very much like what you was reading about, what I just read in a new song, does it not? In verse 8, was it? Where is it at, man? Psalm 149 and verse 8. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So their kings led us into captivity. Their nobles led us into captivity. So they're going to be in chains. And their nobles and their kings are going to be in chains and fetters and bound with fetters of iron. That's what's going to happen. Right? That's what we believe, man. And the new song matches the type of things that we say about people going into captivity. Whereas Christianity Their doctrine don't speak about stuff like that. Their doctrine doesn't speak about people going into captivity. Why? The new song says that people are going to speak about that when they're singing unto the Lord a new song. So why is their doctrine not contain that? Their doctrine that they're boasting about, or that certain of them are boasting about, has been around for 2,000 years. Or you can't, you Hebrew Israelites, you can't try and say that you ain't all the same because you haven't got an established structure of Christianity like we've got. All right, whatever. That's what you say, right? You say we can't say that, but even among the Israelites themselves, they say that. So certain other Israelites will say, I'm not associated with these guys, and other Israelites will say, I'm not associated with them guys, and they'll let it be known. They won't say now we're all the same. So you can try and say that they can't separate themselves all you want. You might try and join them together, but they don't. So you don't get to do that. You don't get to try and tell every single Israelite you're all the same. You don't get to do that. Because then if that's the case, then and all these billions of people on the earth that are Christians, when they do something stupid, which they will, because the way how you taught these people is that God loves you no matter what. And if at the last minute you just say that you love J word, you're forgiven. And he loves you so much that he can even get Bible verses tattooed on your body. And he don't mind because he just loves everyone. He loves you. He loves you, but he hates the sin you committed. You're ridiculous. But then if you want to play that game, when one of them bogged out people that you've taught this doctrine of Christianity to, right, do something stupid, okay, you're the same as them. You're part of that. And all these people that have been Christian, baptized and all that in Christianity, that are Christian when they was so young they don't even remember it. Okay, when they do something stupid, that's on you as well, because you're a Christian too. And we don't care about the different splits and the differences in doctrine. You're a Christian as well, if you want to play that game, because that's what you want to try and do to us, right? So then we can do the same thing to you then, if you want it to be like that. Verse 9, to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints, praise ye Yahweh. So not only are the saints, which, you know what, man, that matches Revelation 13 and 9, and I'm going to put that in the notes, man. You Christians out there, you want to try and make it be only your way? Nah. You don't get to tell us nothing when it comes to the Bible. If we are one of your jobs and you're the manager or whatever, you can tell us what to do there. Or you put that there. Or what you late from your break for? Oh, you're gonna have your break at this. Yeah, okay. But when it comes to the Bible, you ain't telling us nothing, man. We don't have to believe what you believe when it comes to the Bible in any way, shape, or form, man. We've got a doctrine that we believe, and we're gonna believe it until Yahweh Shai comes back and proves who is telling the truth concerning him and concerning his father. That's what's going to be shown. And it's going to begin with what he looks like. What he looks like is going to be the first thing that's going to show who is telling the truth. Because there are going to be some people that all believe, yeah, he is a so-called black man. Yeah, he's got head in his hair, white like wool. But then what he starts to do when he gets here, is he going to be giving Israel a little smack on the hand saying, that was very naughty of you doing all of this, but because I love you, right, everyone's forgiven and we're all going to be equal now. Or is he going to start messing him up like it says in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter? We're going to see. We're going to see if Christianity was right. Or Apocrypha is not ordained. It's not canonized. It's not canon. It's not canonized. Canons. Or is it real? We're going to see. Because they say one thing out their mouth, but then every single time we check and see what they say concerning the Bible, we find that they're lying. They say God hates the sin, not the sinner. The Bible says the Most High hate of sinners in Sirach, the 12th chapter, which since I've said it, I'll quickly show that point right now because that's a big point. Sirach chapter 12 and verse 6, for the Most High hate of sinners. He will repay vengeance to the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So he holds them ready. He lets them he lets them think they're getting away with it and just hold them steady to destroy them. He don't just destroy somebody straight away as soon as they sin. He lets it marinate, man. He lets it build up. He makes them build up a tab. And that's what he's doing to Esau. What if Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? And that's what he did to Esau. He's letting Esau just get so gassed up that Esau actually thinks to a certain degree that he would be able to take Yahushai on. But then when he actually sees what Yahushai looks like, according to, again, 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, and Revelation, the 6th chapter, he's not going to feel brave no more. He's going to reconsider, and the veil that's over his eyes to make him think that he can come up against the Lord is going to be taken away, and he's going to realize, man, what the hell was I thinking? But Yahweh is going to put the spirit on him to still fight, so that Yahushai can have his fun and be able to get off all the anger that he's got within inside him concerning these Edomites, man. Which is the reason why when he comes here in the first place, he's going to more scream like a travailing woman, because he's going to have built up such anger. And part of the anger that is going to be built up in him, he's going to be seeing Esau destroying his people, destroying Yahushai's people who are Israelites, in the day of Jacob's trouble, which is also the day of the Lord. That's going to further build up Yahushai's anger, man. But Christianity will say, nah, whatever they want to say. Well, who cares what they've got to say? We have to do a scriptural counter, just to show that they don't know what they're talking about. It's not because we actually believe the Christian doctrine. We already know that Christian doctrine is not true. Romans 9, the 9th chapter, proves that. You don't even need much else to prove that Christianity is full of BS. But let me go back to this. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 9. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye Yahweh. Now, I just want to quickly check something, because I believe, maybe I'll do a search in a second. I believe that, you know what, let me check and see if I know what I'm talking about first. Because I'm sure that the new song is mentioned in more scriptures or more places than Revelation 14 in the book of Revelation. I know it's mentioned there in verse 3 of Revelation 14. Does it mention it here? No, it mentions the Song of Moses here. But then that's a good point too to bring out, right? Because it's speaking about people that are going to receive salvation and they're going to be escaping from, are going to get victory over the MOTB, right? And over the image of Esau, right? And over the number of his name, right? But then it goes on to say that these people are going to be singing the Song of Moses. Why on earth would Gentiles be singing the Song of Moses? When you read the Song of Moses, it does not speak about salvation for the heathen in there. In fact, it pretty much mocks the heathen and says that the heathen don't even have are unwise people and don't remember the latter end. How could a group of people that's so vast fall and stumble? This is what it pretty much says. How could a group of people fall and stumble except their rock had abandoned them? How could one put 1,000 to flight except they've been abandoned, right? And it goes into say how Yahweh would have pretty much destroyed us if it wasn't for that he had fear that the other nation was trying to boast about us and say, oh, God wasn't able to bring them to do what he wanted them to do, so he had to just destroy them. That's how wicked they were. And he didn't want his strength to be mocked, because he can and will get us to do exactly what he wants us to do. That's what the new covenant's about. Him perfecting us and making us do what he wants us to do. Getting us to fulfill his will, which is to be an immortalized nation that shows his immortality, so that he doesn't even have to show himself physically to the world ever. They understand that we're immortal through first his son Yahushua, and then through the Israelites, because through people seeing us, the Israelites in the kingdom, they're going to know that Yahushua exists. And if anyone was to ever see Yahushua, they'll know for certain that Yahweh exists, but they'll be able to know that Yahweh and Yahweh Shai exist through seeing the Israelites in how amazing we're gonna look. Like when you think, if you consider how amazing Yahweh Shai is, which he's gonna be the best of all things on the earth that you'll be able to ever see. But then King David ain't gonna be no slouch neither, right? King David ain't gonna be no punk neither. Abraham, what's Abraham gonna look like, right? Isaac, what's Isaac? Well, let me not even say Isaac. What's Jacob gonna look like? You see? What and I will say, what are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob gonna look like down here? Right? And Isaac's gonna be really something, man. We that believe a certain concept of the Bible, we already know that Isaac's gonna be really looking like something down here, right? But so is Jacob, and so is Abraham, and so are all the 12 disciples too. Even the disciple that was the last one to become a disciple, he's not going to be no punk neither, and neither are we. He says that this lowest is going to be greater than King David, isn't it? And that's King David of old time. But where King David of old time didn't have an immortal body. So really the lowest Israelite is going to actually be, well, it does say they're going to be greater than King David anyway. They are going to be, because they're going to be immortal. Well, I believe it says greater than King David. I might have to check that. Slovakia. Maybe it says mightier. Is it in the New Testament? Old. All right, Slovakia. Let me try and just see what happens if I search the word David in the New Testament. Sometimes when you look for some of these scriptures, man, you end up looking right at it, and then never even end up seeing it. But I might have to do it in after I've posted the video up, if I'm not able to find it within the lesson that the lowest Israelite, is going to be greater than King David in the kingdom. Yeah, I ain't been able to find that. One second, let me try one more search. Right, nah, that's not gonna work. All right, that's gonna be quite annoying now, and I'm gonna be thinking about that. Let me type in new song and then go to the book of Revelation anyway and see. Let me go check the New Testament first. Okay, so there we go. I knew it was in another place in the book of Revelation. It's Revelation chapter 5 and verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain, has redeemed us to God out, and has redeemed us to Yahweh by thy blood, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. And again, Kindred, the word for kindred is going to be phule, which means in the New Testament, all the people descended from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. I'm not too sure what the word for tongue is, but I believe the word for people is laos, right? And the word for nation is ethnos, which when you understand what the definition for kindred means, it's going to let you understand who the laos is, or who the people are, and who the ethnos is. The laos is the Israelites, the ethnos is the Israelites, and the tongues are going to be different, because if you are scattered around another group of people and you're born there as a baby and grow up, you're going to learn that language from interacting with the people. That's going to become your first tongue that you speak, right? And if you end up learning your own actual native language eventually, that could happen. But sometimes it don't happen, which is where you get the situation in the book of Acts during the day of Pentecost, where you had all these Israelites, all these different Jews from every nation under heaven that were speaking all these different languages, praising Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, where even Christians can't get that bit right of the Bible. They try and say that that's everyone, when it clearly says it was Jews, devout men. The Jews are the devout men. So there were Jews and there were devout men. It's not, oh, if there was Jews there and then devout men were there as well. Nah, the devout men were the Jews. But Christianity is just always lied when it comes to the Bible, to the point where some of these people even go so far in their lying that they're prepared to say that God gave the old covenant to everyone, when it clearly tells you in Exodus the 24th chapter that Moses made 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, not according to everyone on earth. How many pillars would have had to be there to make it for everyone? And how comes the heathen nations were never cursed for the sins that they did then? According to the Deuteronomy 28, according to the same curse that the Israelites went through. How comes that never happened? But when you're prepared to lie, you're just going to say anything. In one conversation, being an Israelite don't matter. But then in another conversation, oh, being an Israelite matters and you need a DNA test. That's how it is when you lie. And that's how we know Christianity is full of lies. But I think I've more than made the point that the doctrine of Christianity does not match what would be in a new song, but the doctrine of Israelites matches perfectly what we speak about and what the new song speaks about. You can see all of those points within the doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites, every single one of them, right? And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom.